Hi there once again, and welcome back to the Explaining History YouTube channel. And as you know, for the last few days I've been doing videos on the Vietnam War. Last week I was talking about France and the Vietnam War. This week I'm talking about America. And now I'm going to talk about the Tet Offensive that begins in January 1968 and lasts for most of the year. The Tet Offensive was a surprise coordinated attack by the North Vietnamese Army and the South Vietnamese Viet Minh. Sometimes they're popularly referred to as the Viet Cong. That's a sort of a slang, really. Viet Minh is the correct term. And the attack manifests itself in 100 different cities and major towns across South Vietnam. It's the first major military incursion by the North into the South, and it takes the United States by surprise, and obviously the Republic of Vietnam, or South Vietnam as it is also known. The scale of the attack has a huge propaganda effect for the North Vietnamese, particularly in the United States. America had been, to some extent, the general American public had been to some extent disinterested in the war up to that point. There was cursory interest in it, to the extent to which it was a foreign war that America would no doubt win at some point, but seemed to be dragging on rather a lot. And now, in 1968, there was a sudden shock as the Tet Offensive is filmed and broadcast to American homes, and Americans see the Viet Minh fighting the security forces, the American Marines, in the compound of the US Embassy in Saigon. And the general feeling is that the Viet Minh, whilst they are less well armed than the United States, and no doubt defeatable at some point, that the fact that they are still fighting, that they haven't given up and they're not going to give up, suggests to the United States general population, the viewing population back home in America, that this is going to be a far harder won fight than it was first conceived of. When the well-known national news anchor Walter Cronkite says, "It is increasingly clear to this reporter that the only rational way out then will be to negotiate not as victors but as an honourable people who lived up to their pledge to defend democracy." And following that, the Secretary of Defence Robert McNamara resigns. The general feeling across America is that the war is unwinnable. If someone like Walter Cronkite is saying it, then it must be true. He's an enormously respected and trusted individual. And Johnson in 1968 felt that the Vietnam War had really sucked the life out of his administration. He's becoming kind of a listless and depressed and demotivated individual who announces that he won't stand again for office. And the Tet Offensive is eventually defeated militarily by the United States and the Republic of Vietnam. But the long-term results were that, for example, only 35% of Americans approved of Johnson's handling of the war, and less than half of all Americans believed the war was winnable. So it had a huge blow to American morale, which is perhaps what it intended to achieve in the first place. Anyway, I hope you found that useful and handy, and if you like this channel, subscribe, give us some likes, give us some comments, and I'll be producing more videos like this every day. Thanks, bye-bye.